Hello guys, welcome to the coding lab. So today we are going to create one Spring Boot CRUD application with the help of JSON file. So let's begin. Let's create one Spring Boot application. For creating the REST API, I will add one Spring Boot starter web dependency. Okay, in this example, we are dealing with the JSON. So for the creating, for the converting the Java object into JSON and JSON into a Java object, I will use JSON library. So let's copy and paste into a form.xml. Now let's create the classes required for our CRUD application. Okay, so I have prepared controller, service and service sample, one employee class and one response model and one constant class. So let's create the variable in employee class. So I have already created the variables. Simply I will simply copy here. Okay. To store the data into JSON file, we will need one JSON file also. Let's create that. Okay. And let's annotate our controller with REST controller. Okay. Currently our employees.json file is empty, right? So let's create an API for adding the data into this JSON file. Okay. So let's create. See, I will simply copy to save our time. Okay, so as we are adding data for the first time, so I'm taking the issue method type as a post and slash employee as a mapping, and in the request body I'm taking employee as an object. Just copy the implementation from already prepare the code. So I will explain you the adding the employee data into a JSON file logic to you now. So in the service sample, as soon as we receive that employee object, then first we are checking, reading the data from the JSON file, whether is already data present or not. If it is present, then we are reading those data into a JSON file and we are simply converting into a list of employee type. So once we receive this list of employee data, then we are checking whether the ID coming in the employee ID is already present in the JSON file or not. If it is not present, then we are simply adding the data. If it is already present, then we are simply giving the message that employee is already present. And once if it is not present, then we are adding that data into a employee data list and simply write that data into a JSON file using this logic. Okay, so let's run this code and check this API. Sorry. Okay, so our Spring Boot application started on port 8080. So let's test this API. So I will use the Postman here. So this is a localhost 8080 slash employee method. So I will simply hit this API. So I got the message like status as success and data as employee added successfully. So let's check into our JSON file. So as you can see, so one employee is added into an JSON file. So let's add another data also. I will type the employee ID as to Samir. Yes, 20,000. And I will hit this API again. Again, I got a message like employee added successfully, right? Okay, suppose if 101 employee ID is already present, I'm adding that employee data again with this API, then it should give me error message as employee already present, right? As we did in the coding. Employee already present like message we got. So this create API is working here. So now let's create another API for fetching all the employee details, and for particular employee ID also means based on employee ID we can fetch the employee details also. So let's create two APIs now. Okay, so now in the JSON file we have these two data, right? I'll close this. In the controller we will create now two get mappings. Okay. So now I will explain you this two APIs. So first is fetch all the employee details from the JSON file. So for that purpose, we are not taking any input parameter here. So simply we are reading the JSON file, and so here what we are doing. So simply we are reading the JSON file. We will get the list of employees. Those employees, those employee list, I will add into a data object, and I will make this status as success, and I'm simply returning this data. So that's it for the fetch all the employee data. Another one is employee. Based on the employee ID, we need to fetch the employee details. So for that purpose, I'm taking in the path variable, I'm taking employee ID as an input parameter. I'm passing this employee ID in the service layer. Then here also I'm reading the JSON file, and I'm getting the list of employees. From that list, I'm finding that particular employee based on this employee ID, right? And that's employee details I'm simply return. Correct? Let's test these two APIs now. Okay. Suppose now let's test the fetch all the employee details API. So previously we have added two employee details, right? So now we are getting the proper output. And another one is based on the employee ID, we need to fetch the employee details. So we have added two employees, 101 and 102. Suppose if we pass this 101, we will get details. So this is also working fine. Now let's create update API. For that purpose also I have created put mapping with the same mapping here. Copying this simply, creating method in the interface, in the implementation. Let's copy the implementation from our code. In the update employee API also, we are taking employee object. Okay. Once we receive the employee object, here also simply we are reading the JSON file. We will get the list of the employees. Then whatever the employee ID is present in this request packet, that element simply we are removing from the list and adding the latest one with the updated details, and simply writing those data into a JSON file. Correct? So let's test this API also. Okay. So here we will use this put API. Currently the Samir is having salary as 20,000, right? So we will update the salary as 30,000 now. And let's hit this API. So we got the success message as employee details updated successfully. Let's check with this fetch all the APIs also. Okay, so you can find the updated salary now. Now let's delete one employee. So for that purpose we need to create one another REST API. So simply I will create one delete employee mapping, and I will take in the path variable, I will take employee ID as input. Okay, let's create method in the interface and its implementation. Okay, so here also you can see the same code here. So only the few changes you can observe here. Okay, so here also I'm reading the data from the JSON file and I'm reviewing that particular element whose employee ID is matching. Correct? So whatever the employee ID we are receiving in the input, so those elements we are receiving from removing from the list, and that employee data again we are writing into a JSON file. Let's check this API also. So right, so we have the two employees currently 101 and 102. Let's delete this 101 employee ID details. I need to pass simply 101 here. This is a delete. I will hit this API. The employee deleted successfully. Let's check whether it is deleted or not. As you can see, now we are getting only one employee detail. So in this way, we can implement the CRUD application with the help of JSON file. Okay. If you want to see this code, so I'm scrolling here. Okay. So if you have any doubt related to this application, you can write down in the comment section. I will answer it. And thank you for watching this video. Thank you. Bye.